Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's your number one Chief Rock Knicks Universal main man, Uncle Freezy, coming through to talk that talk the way that y'all like to have that talk to y'all. So I'm gonna do a really quick season in review. And I feel like we need a season in review because a lot of things have happened since October. Will Salkin is in the place to be. What's good? Adios. What's happening, man? What's good? What's good? I see y'all. What's good, man? Rome in the building. Salute. Far Rockaway in the building. Salute to Queens. So I want to do a Cowboy Bob is in the building. Salute. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I got you. Give me a sec. Okay. I got you. Bim. Superstar. Celebrity status. All right. So I want to kind of talk about the season in review. Louisiana Knicks is in the building. King Ribby is in the building. Salute, King. Chef NYK is in the building. Bronx Kicks for Life is in the building. Salute. What's good? So I want to just talk about a few things briefly because I understand over the next few weeks there are going to be a lot of things said, and there are going to be a lot of emotions and things like that. So I want to just point out a few things before we go down this road. Salute to all our people watching on social media. Right? Salute to our people watching on X. Right? Salute to our people watching on X. So we have a celebrity backstage. Which celebrity do we have backstage? Let me see. Do we have anybody backstage? I don't know.
Good evening.
Salute.
I'm so happy right now. Salute.
Yeah,
Salute
man.
to everybody in the chat. Yes, 50 wins.
50 wins.
2013 was the last time we seeded so high. Man, right. This feels good.
This feels good. So I'm going to do a brief year-end review. Just go over a few things that happened this year. Because I understand as a 50-win team, as a number 2 seed in the East, and things of that sort, there are a lot of conversations that we're going to have over the next few weeks or so, next few days or so. So I want to get this out of the way, and then that way we can talk about playoffs in the upcoming days. We can talk about playoffs and play-in and all of that. But for right now, I just want to talk about this thing while things are fresh in our minds. Right? Do you remember the Knicks record in October?
Oh, wow. Give me a sec. Off the top of my head, I want to say October. What were we like? I think 10-17 or something. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
I'm gonna search for it. Let me see.
I know we were under 500 with RJ, and we were barely 500. like when we first started off.
Right. I'm gonna search for it. And then that way we can discuss it.
Okay. I think today's game was just an eye opener. I was gonna come on here and yo, Josh Hart at that last play. Oh my God. I was gonna come on here and apologize to IB Cam Dre if we lost that game because of that. I was gonna be like, Josh Hart, you're repeating last year, but it felt like a good playoff game. It was a real good game for me to see because it showed like what they really were gonna put forward. And plus Chicago, I don't know, for some reason, they really trying to keep that rivalry going between us. Like they played everybody, even though they were locked in.
All right. So the Knicks in November were 2-3. I'm sorry. The Knicks were 2. I'm sorry. 0-2, 3-2, 3-3, 6-3, 6-4, 7-4, 7-5, 10-5, 10-7, 11-7, 11-8, 12-8. Oh, wait a minute. I miscounted. Okay, wait a minute. I miscounted because of the in-season tournament. I'm sorry. So the Knicks were in November. They were 0-2, 0-5. I'm sorry, 0-2, 3-2, 3-3, 6-3, 6-4, 7-4, 7-5, 8-5, 9-5. So the Knicks were 9-5 in the month of November. That's not bad.
I didn't know that. I thought we were doing bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we were worse than that. To be honest, in October, the Knicks were 2-2. Right. So at the beginning of December, the Knicks were 11-7 overall. Not bad. And through December, the Knicks were 17-15.
Yeah.
So the Knicks were 17-15 through December. And the bad thing about it was we finished off the year losing 4 out of our last 5 games. So we lost to Milwaukee on the 23rd. We beat them on Christmas Day. And then we lost to OKC, Orlando, and Indiana to finish out the year. And then January happened.
Amazing.
What was it, like? Then January happened. The Knicks, in January, the Knicks only lost 2 games. They lost to at Dallas 128-124.
Yeah.
And in the Garden on January 15th, another 4-point loss, but to the Orlando Magic. And they went from January 15th until February 3rd was their next loss. So they went the rest of the month of January into February and then lost to the Lakers in the Garden.
Damn Lakers.
Yeah, them damn Lakers. Those damn Lakers. But
I love that. Dude.
Let me ask you this. What stood out for you this 2023-2024 season? Not necessarily a game, but what event stood out for you in the 2023-2024 season?
The transition that the Knicks team is here with actually having a valid front office. Like, I'm actually impressed. Everything from the beginning of the season, making adjustments. Basically what you just said about our record. We were doing well before we even made the trade. So then it's like when we made the trade, it was like they saw something.
Wait. So I asked you for one thing. Like, what one thing stood out for you?
Oh, the front office. I'm talking about the front office.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about like how they made the moves, how they played everything. That to me stood out because they did the right moves and the right things. But if we're looking at players,
right? But you're talking about the front office, though, right?
Yeah, the front office.
Okay. So I'm asking Cowboy Bob for one thing. Everybody, Cowboy Bob want to talk about 5 different things.
I can't.
So the one thing that stood out for you was the front office.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
They put a great product together to where we can enjoy it.
Okay.
And everybody was clicking on the same page. I
Okay.
mean, Tibbs, he would, whatever was going on, the front office had his back. And I'm really glad that we actually have a good front office that can not only make the right moves at the right times with the pieces, but actually know how to negotiate. So for
Okay. So
me,
okay. So yeah. So for me, I think the one thing that stood out for me this season, the 2023-2024 season, I think is in the same line that what you said. The one thing that stood out to me is that the front office was willing to do whatever it takes to win. Right? Chat. In my mind, the thing that stands out to me the most, not a specific event, right? I wanted an event, but but as I thought about it more, I'm thinking about an occurrence. The one thing that stood out the most to me this season is that the front office was willing to do whatever it takes to win. And the reason why that stood out to me is when you're a front office, some moves are kind of hard to make, right? And the fact that the front office loved RJ Barrett and they loved Emmanuel Quickly, and the mere fact that they were willing to part with those guys to bring in what they felt was a difference maker, to me is impressive.
agreed.
Right. Right. Do you have another event that happened during the year that stood out to you? Just like an event.
In the
Like
event,
don't bunch them all together. We want to
I'm
get
not
all of
in
them
the
here.
event. I'm gonna bring
Yeah.
up something that you also brought up earlier. The event known as our Riverboat Gambler, Dante DiVincenzo. Everyone's gonna talk about Brunson. I'll say that for later. But Dante shooting 283 threes attempts, doing as good as he did. I really got to be, I'm impressed because he actually finished off, I think, towards since February. He's been averaging like 20 points, 40% from the free 3-point line. He's our secondary cheap signing to me under Brunson. Like it's Brunson, then him. And if he could perform this well, we got two aces in the hole. So, yeah,
Okay.
the emergence of Dante DiVincenzo.
So the emergence of Dante DiVincenzo stood out to you. Okay.
He beat out Grimes for the starting position. He plays defense. He was basically our defensive anchor for guards until we got OG, and he's been able to keep that going. He'll have bad games. You'll see a week or two of him having bad games, but that defense is at least always present. Not that many. He doesn't get into foul trouble like that. And when he's pissed and he just goes to the right, you see him dunking on people. He don't care. I love that. And it's
Okay.
different because it's like you got Brunson. Brunson to me is like the preppy guy. Dante is like if you look at him, he's like 8 Mile, like Eminem, from the trailer parks. He won us. He been through the hard work. So I'm glad we added Dante this year.
Right. Right. I think another event during the season that stuck out to me that I'll never forget is the Julius Randle injury.
Oh God, mi corazón.
Right. Right. The Julius Randle injury to me as a Knicks fan is one of those things where it looks like something is so simple can be devastating. Now every time you see and chat, and I'm not trying to be a fearmongerer, right? I'm not trying to be a fearmongerer, but it's like every time you see a Knicks player hit the floor now, you're like, oh my God, I hope he get up.
hmm Even with Brunson today, when he fell and he
Yeah.
was on his back and he was stretching out his like, I was like, oh, don't tell me.
Yeah.
Or when Josh Hart with his wrist.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like every time a Knicks player hits the floor now I'm thinking to myself, like, oh my goodness, I hope he gets up. I hope this is nothing serious. Right? Because the Randall injury, when Randall got whacked by that dude that looks like D'Artagnan from the Three Musketeers, when Randall got hit, I honestly didn't think it was something serious until I saw Randall's shoulder sticking out. And as soon as I saw Randall's shoulder, I was like, yeah, he's gone. He's gone for the year.
That injury reminded me of Jason Sehorn for the Giants, like one of those injuries where you were just like,
Right.
that just was not meant for him.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but Julius being out, you're right. That was a roller coaster ride for me too. I was hoping he would stay.
All right. Let me ask you another. Um um name another event during the season that stood out to you. A memorable event in the 2023-2024 season.
Dang, there's a lot of them. I mean,
There's a
especially
lot of them.
with Brunson. I mean, I don't know if this is true, but from what I heard to the grapevine is that we only been in the 2 overtime games. One was with Spurs and one was tonight. If that's true, that's an amazing event right there for me because that shows that we playing hungry. Like the way this team is playing is beautiful because the event that I would say would be Dante going, no, not Dante, Brunson, when he went 10 for 11. I loved that. He missed one free throw and then shot 10 straight. I was so impressed. I was like, yo, he didn't miss like the whole half. Remember that? That was just amazing. And then the next night, Keegan Murray goes 11 for 13 or whatever, 11 for 11. But yeah, that night when he went 10 for 11, didn't miss the second half, I was like, whoa.
I would say the 61-point game stood out for me. The
The double team.
61-point Brunson game.
Yeah, the double team. He was breaking them down.
Yeah, I think that stood out for me. Chat. How memorable was Jalen Brunson's 61-point game for y'all? Was that a standout game, or are we kind of getting used to Jalen Brunson scoring a lot of points? Or tell me how y'all feel when y'all saw the 61-point game.
I loved it. It was so beautiful just to see him locked in like that, and that's the difference between him and Tatum. I hate
Right,
to say this. I liked Tatum this season and last season, but the difference between him and Brunson is you could see it in his eyes. Yo, he's waving people off. He's attacking the rim. He's setting up passes. He's hell of aggressive. And that San Antonio game, they were locking him up in the beginning. And then at the end, he just, I don't know where that came from. When Wemby was on him, he driving. I'm like, who is this grown ass man? Like, he
right,
was like, he has an inner dog in him that's really scary. I think it's like doomsday type. Like, when his eyes turn red, you're like, damn, them beans is going to be following me all game, which means you better be prepared. That
right.
61, though, I give it to you. That's another one, too.
The 61-point game stood out to me because generally when Jalen Brunson catches fire,
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Brunson usually scores 40, right? But when you see Jalen Brunson score 61, now you're talking about Jalen Brunson might be one of the best scorers in the NBA period, and not just our secret weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Nice is in the building. What's good, man? So to everybody, listen, the thing with Jalen Brunson in that 61-point game with me is I felt like Jalen Brunson was our secret weapon, like the best kept secret. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody knows how good he is until like they whip out their monster of a player, and then we whip out our monster of a player, and then they're surprised.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's kind of like that. Smoke is in the building. Say, hey, Tay, what's good, man? And my thing is the Jalen Brunson 61-point game is this, right? My I didn't know he had it in him. I thought he was like one of those guys that could get you 40, 45 on a good night, and that may be it. But to see that man go for 61 against a team that did not want to lose. They actually won that game anyway. They did not want to lose that game, and they were throwing all types of junk defenses at Brunson, and he overcame all of that and still scored 61.
That's our boy.
Yeah, man.
I gotta say, when I saw him and his dad talking, like on the sideline at the game, I was like, damn, his dad must be proud, boy. Like your son is not just a beast. He's gonna be like Ewing.
He's definitely
I,
gonna be an icon eventually. We just
yes.
need for him to do something in the once he has one major moment, he's gonna be an icon in the city. But
Yep.
let me ask you this since you said that. What is your proudest moment of this season as a Knicks fan? Chat, y'all put y'all thing in the chat too, man. Y'all proudest moment of this season. Y'all tell me what moment do you remember the best of this season, the most proud you've been of this team?
Jalen Brunson stepping into his zone. I'm the most proudest of that because I did not see that. The way he finished off this season, going for
But what moment though?
the moment when after the 60-point game, like you're right, the 61-point
Like
game.
what moment are you the most proud of?
I like the Boston game. I think he went. He only missed 8 shots and dropped 40 or like 39. I can't remember. And he was out the whole third quarter. Like that game, I was just like, "What are you doing? You missed 2 free throws, but cool. But you were just 8 shots you missed, and you dropped 39 on these boys and sat out a whole quarter. Like last person I seen sit out after 3 quarters was Tracy McGrady on the Magics.
Right.
So for me to see that again in today's game, I'm like, yeah, he's him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think I might be there with you on that. I'm going to say my proudest moment this season is when the Knicks beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. At the time we played them, you could say you could legit make an argument that at the time we beat the Timberwolves, they were the best team in the NBA, not Boston.
Yep.
At the time we beat them, I think Minnesota had won. I think Minnesota was 24-8 or 24-6, something like that when we played them, right? And we legit were trying to get ourselves together. We had just completed a trade. We were trying to figure out some stuff, and in that game, Jalen Brunson, and this is no knock on Brunson, but in that game, Jalen Brunson played 41 minutes. He was 5 for 23, 1 of 9 for 3, right? But that's okay. That's okay. Listen, that's okay. That's all right. Don't judge him, right? That's okay. He was 5 for 23. Don't hate on Brunson for that. Everybody's gonna have a bad shooting night, right? But in that game, I think it clicked in Jalen Brunson's mind that I don't have to shoot all the time. I can also play make. And in that game, Jalen Brunson had 14 assists, right? So in my mind, in that game, Jalen Brunson legit turned the corner as a megastar, right? If my shot's not going, how else can I impact the game, right? But also in that game, Julius Randle scored 39 points, had 9 rebounds, right? But the kicker in that game, right, to me, the best player in that game was a brand new OG Anunoby, right? We had just got OG Anunoby, right? And OG Anunoby guarded everybody on the floor for Minnesota. Everybody. Every OG Anunoby guarded everybody on the floor. And what happened was they legit looked overmatched at times, right? Minnesota looked overmatched by a team that was 17-15 going into that game. And what that did is it proved to the fans, and I think to the Knicks, I think 3 things at the same time. For one, there is a perfect move out there for the Knicks, right? When you search and are patient for the perfect move is out there sometimes, right? And OG Anunoby, even though I regret RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly having to go, but OG Anunoby was the perfect fit. He was like the stone that the builder refused. And after the whole building was put up, he looked back at that stone he threw away and he grabbed it and it fit right in. Right? And so in that game, Jalen Brunson turned the corner as a playmaker. Julius Randle turned the corner as an elite performer against an elite defense. At the time that we played them, right, Minnesota had the number 1 ranked defense in the NBA, and the Knicks had the number 4 ranked defense in the NBA, I believe. Right? We played them, and our best players just picked them apart surgically. Right? And so, to me, that's my proud moment because it was the start of something special. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I was to sit here and tell you that I could predict January, I'd be a bold-faced lie. Right? And I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. But at the time that we beat Minnesota, right, we added our new pieces. They came, they fit right in. Right? They came, they fit right in, and we wound up beating the best team in the NBA playing their game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They have a guy that's probably gonna be the NFL Defensive Player of the Year in Rudy Gobert. They have the wing player McDaniels who can guard anybody. Anthony Edwards is an elite defender. Mike Conley is a good defender. And you basically rolled that out on the Knicks, and Randall absolutely got off. Jalen Brunson looked like Steve Nash almost that night. And OG Anunoby guarded everybody 1 through 4. Everybody. And if you go back and look at the box score, it's going to look like some guys got off during that thing. Nah, some of that is stat padding. Like when you look at Anthony Edwards' numbers and all that stuff, some of that is stat pad. Rudy Gobert, some of that is stat pad. Karl Anthony Towns was getting us. You know what I'm saying? He's just hard to guard. But man, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Think about how we were feeling, right? Think about how remorseful we were feeling that just the day before that, right? The day before that, or a couple of days before that, we were arguing over how much we were going to pay Emmanuel Quickly in the offseason.
Yeah.
We were thinking like, when is RJ? Is RJ still sick and all this stuff? We were trying to figure out what was going on with RJ. And 2 days later, we have OG Anunoby and Precious Achiuwa and Malachi Flynn, and we don't even know what we have, right? Because for all we knew in Toronto, OG Anunoby was always injured, and for the most part, he was a non-factor on a lottery team. We didn't know how he was going to fit here. We knew his potential, but we didn't know his kinetic. And when he got here, it was like he was born to be here. He's a perfect fit.
Agreed.
So that's my most proud moment right there, bro.
Yep, I agree. I was so surprised. That's actually a good call on that game. I forgot about that game. Yeah, the Timberwolves was supposed to be the number 1 team, and everybody calling Ant-Man the next MVP, and got shut down. And it's crazy because even last year when Randall hit his 51 piece, nobody remembers him doing it against the Timberwolves in February.
Right.
It's like we for some reason we can play the West really well, but then again, everyone's gonna say the Lakers. It's LeBron James, but we play the West really well in my eyes.
All right. So what moment stood out to you the most in a negative way?
Ooh, give me a sec. You said a moment. Give me a sec. I gotta think.
Yeah, what one moment stood out to you the most in a negative way?
I hate to say this, but Sims' shortcoming. Like how I've been trying, because I see McBride step up, and I know he's a work in progress, but it's just been a question mark about Sims. Like every time I see him on the court, I'm like, please do good, and then he'll do one quick play off of a dunk putback, and then that's it. So Sims' play style of me that thing worries me the most.
Okay. So I have a couple, right? So I have a few, right, that were disappointing, but I'm gonna lead to a crescendo, right? I was very disappointed at the development of the young players coming into the season. I was very disappointed with Quentin Grimes, with Emmanuel Quickly, and with RJ. RJ actually had a very good start to the season, but then when he missed all those games and came back, when he missed all those games and came back, Grimes, RJ, and Quickly all looked like they had taken a regression. That's one thing that was disappointing, right? Another thing that was very disappointing to me was Mitchell Robinson getting hurt and missing a large chunk of the season, right? And it wasn't that injury that upset me. It was the fact that he's always hurt, is what I was thinking. Like, damn, Mitch, you always getting hurt, man. Like, what's going on? And listen, I know Mitchell Robinson was upset with the injury also. I know Mitch was upset with the injury also, bro. I mean, he's a person, right? But the thing that disappointed me the most, right? The thing that disappointed me the most at that time, and maybe even still now, right? Was the trade deadline came and went, and we didn't get a major piece.
Yeah.
That was the thing that frustrated me then, and it frustrates me a little bit now. But in hindsight, when I was at the trade line then, I didn't know Randall was going to be out for the season, right? And at the trade deadline then, I didn't know Mitchell Robinson was going to come back looking this rusty, so to speak, needing more time to get back in the flow. And at the time, at the trade deadline, we had no idea that OG Anunoby was going to miss the next 6 to 8 weeks. At the time, we didn't know that, right? At the time, we didn't know that. We find that out the day of the trade deadline, after the trade deadline passed, right? And so in fairness to it, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie and make up like some narrative. I didn't have anything pre-typed out, like some big paragraph of narrative to kind of like sweet talk everybody. No, the trade deadline was kind of a disappointment to me at the time. It was, right? Because I thought that was the time that we should go out and pick up whoever.
Yeah.
Whoever. Name your star. Now, with that said, after the trade deadline, I learned that they didn't need to do a major trade. Right? After the trade deadline, they didn't really need to make a major trade at the trade deadline. OG Anunoby is good enough. But like I said, at the trade deadline, we didn't know OG Anunoby was going to miss all that time. Right? We didn't know. Right? So it's one of those things, like a lot of times you don't know what you don't know. And if you like, I don't want to make up narratives. Like right now, thinking back on the trade deadline, I'm thinking maybe instead of getting Alec Burks and Bogdanovich, maybe we should have got a defensive wing that could replace OG Anunoby. Looking back on it, but I don't want to use revisionist history. Revisionist history is a cop out. So Mets is in the building. Mets, what's good, man?
Good evening, Mets.
Yeah, hold on, man. Hold on, Mets. You gotta relax, bro. Go ahead, Cowboy Bob.
Nah, I was just gonna say I agree with you on that, because the whole thing is, man, when he got hurt, I was just like, and then when the trade went through, I was really thinking like, oh, we could go get these backup point guards. Now at this time, I agree with you. I'm on the other side of the fence, because McBride, if he wasn't given that time to develop, I don't think we would have gotten the right piece to would have been solidified like him. Because I think McBride still did good with the 3-ball, was still good. I wanted him, Sims. Like, I wanted everybody to get changed up because we needed a guard. Now I see we just need faith in this team. Like, I was like, we would have ended up spending draft picks and everything back there. We probably would have never had the 50-team win.
Right. I agree with you on that completely. If we had done said move, then we probably would never have seen the emergence of Deuce McBride. And they probably had faith in Deuce McBride is the reason why they didn't make the move. Mess, what's good, bro?
Not much, other than that today's game was a bit too much of a nail biter.
Did you hear the question? So I asked Cowboy Bob, what one event was probably the most disappointing to you this season? When you look back on it honestly, when you honestly take a look back, what one event do you feel like at the time that it happened maybe disappointed you some?
The Randall injury and his stubbornness to not go through with the surgery until a couple of weeks ago.
Right. Those are two separate events, though. So the Randall injury disappointed you?
Because what's the point of basically dragging the fan base along by dangling a carrot from
You didn't hit it, but you didn't hit it. You didn't hit it. So the question was, what one event? And you're talking about the two events. I just wanted to say, which one disappointed you the most? Was it the fact that Randall decided to get the injury late, or was it the fact that he got injured?
The fact he got injured at all.
Okay.
But I'm explaining.
No, I understand. I'm a pretty smart dude, bro. I know what you talk. I can follow.
I mean,
what I'm saying is the fact that, so you're saying the Randall injury was really frustrating to you?
Yeah, so because if he doesn't do that stupid move he did against Miami, this team could have been about a 55-win team at best.
Right. But you know what though? If they won 55 games, they still would be the 2 seed.
True, but it'd be a much more solidified 2 seed.
Right. We still got it though. You still secured the 2 seed. But my thing is, through the ups and downs of this season, there were a lot of highs during the season, and there were a lot of lows during the season. And some of the lows that we encountered at the time that they happened, it would have been the perfect time for us to just sing about doom and gloom. But overall, I think this season is probably one that we'll look back at. This team and franchise was super resilient. Cowboy Bob, real quick, let me ask Mets this. So, Mets, what was the most surprising event, the most surprising one event that happened this season that kind of caught you off guard and you were pleasantly surprised?
I would say putting Brunson in the 3 spot for a few games until OG got back.
Okay. So what did you get out of that?
Mostly it was, to me, part of me was saying overcompensation for a lack of a piece that it's going to be a revolving door in small forward. Word. A lack of logic and constantly being over-reliant on Josh Hart in the 4 spot, when there was also that one point before OG's second injury, he was swapping Achua and Hart spots when Achua should be 4, not 3, and vice versa. And I was getting on Thibodeau's case for that lack of logic. And then I was like, oh my goodness, he's putting Brunson in the small spot. This is going to be even worse.
So what was the pleasantly surprised part of that?
That Deuce actually stepped up.
Okay. Stepped up how to you? Like, what was the surprise to you that he stepped up?
His productivity offensively.
Okay.
I mean, we knew he always had it. It's just that with how stubborn Thibodeau was from when he got him in 21-22 to how little he used him last year to how, for the most part, he didn't use him that much all this year until the injuries started coming in February. We never really got to see Deuce shine all that much. Mid to late March comes around, and he gets that chance and thrives in it.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to say this. I think it was the law of numbers. I think there were probably too many young players vying for those minutes, and they had to make room for Deuce in order for Deuce to get those prime minutes. And then part of that had to do with injury also, right? I mean, because we can't legit say that Deuce McBride at the time Grimes, Quickly, and RJ was here, that Deuce McBride deserved minutes over those 3. I don't know how fair to the conversation will be if we say Deuce should have been playing over RJ, Quickly, and Grimes, right?
Well, he definitely should have been playing over Grimes.
You can say that now.
Right. Right.
Because at the time, Grimes was a good defender for his height. I thought, at least, I'm not gonna say we, but I thought he had an opportunity because of his height to be a better offensive player and at least do basically what McBride did this year. I thought he was going to make that same leap McBride did when we
The
needed him.
problem, I mean, Bob, the problem with Grimes was when put on the same court at the same time with RJ, Randall, and Barrett, he wouldn't take the shot. He was a coward.
Yeah.
Right. No doubt. So Cowboy Bob, I think you mentioned part of your part of the things that you were pleasantly surprised with earlier. Is there another event that kind of made you proud, so to speak, made you pump out your chest?
OG. I am proud to have him on this team. Yo, I don't know what it is, but in the first quarter, he comes out so aggressive offensively. And then for 3 quarters, when we need him, he's there. He hits. He like what was the game he came back? He hit 7 for 9 in the first quarter. I was like,
the Philly
he just
game.
got back. Yeah, I was like, what is this? And then he just ended up with 16 points. I was like, that's what we needed because he was attacking just like it was easy. And everyone's like, they need him to do more. And I'm like, no, he's doing exactly what he needs to do. And him staying stagnant in that to where limited touches, being that much of a man, it's just been like, yo, the way OG has his impact, it reminds me of when Randall got here. Like, it's like, yes, we got one, you know? But don't get me wrong, Brunson is the same thing, but Brunson is, because Randall's not here now, I can't really speak on, I don't feel comfortable talking about Brunson like he's the man and he's everything because I think it's still Randall. But OG stepped in and kind of filled in that spot defensively with the rebounds and helped us out a little bit enough on offense to actually keep us going without Randall. That to me was impressive because that's him, and he's calm about it. I love that. Like, he barely talks, no emotion. He just goes out and plays. A lot of people don't like him, but for me, he reminds me of like a Oakley. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just like when he on the court, you're like, damn, we know we got to work for this. And seeing this for us, I know he was a rival team with the Raptors, but for seeing him on the Knicks doing this, I'm like, damn, I was wrong.
Let me speak to the opposite side of that real quick. So I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It really did break my heart to see RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly get traded. Right. Even if it's for OG Anunoby, who I like, by the way. I like OG Anunoby is one of my favorite Knicks. But when I found out that RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly both were traded away, it kind of broke my heart, man. And the reason being is because on draft night, when you see those guys walk across the stage, you hear the commissioner say, with the such and such pick in the NBA draft, such and such selects Emmanuel Quickly, University of Kentucky, and then you see he gets here, press conferences, you get to get to know these young players. The same thing with Grimes, Quentin Grimes from the University of Houston, and you see these young players in summer league, you see them grow, and you root for them, you pull for them to be very good professionals and things of that sort. And then to wake up to see that they're traded away is kind of heartbreaking in a sense that it's kind of like watching, your young player get traded away. That's kind of what it's like.
Yeah.
But when you think about the circumstances, it's basically for Quickly, for Barrett's case, it's a chance to go home to Canada, and for Quickly, a chance to try to help green up new pastures that have been pretty barren for a few years now.
Yeah.
But in this regard, I agree that I was not on board with getting rid of younger players for an older piece. At least not initially, especially when you consider OG's injury history.
Right. And then plus you have to start the acceptance part all over again. Right. So you have to start the clock. So you have to cut your strings, cut the cord with Quickly and RJ and it
was a draft pick, I think, right?
Yeah, and then ingratiate yourself to a guy that was once the enemy, right? So now he was the antagonist for all those years. Now he's the protagonist, and you have to kind of get used to him being in your uniform. And sure, it looks awkward. It looked awkward a lot. Like, who is this number 8? What? We all know it's OG Anunoby. We know that it's OG Anunoby, but the fact that you have to get unused to RJ quickly, and in the other trade, you have to get unused to Fournier and Ryan Arcidiacono and Malachi Flynn and Quentin Grimes. So you have to get unused to those guys and get used to new guys. And so it's,
if I can use a little bit of a manga reference, it's like now that I've found out something I didn't want to know recently in the JoJo series, that the new protagonist Jodio in part 9 is actually the villain of the story.
Right. Yeah, it's like when Captain America went to work for Hydra.
Yeah. And so that was kind of like the disruptive part. I understand what you're saying about the acceptance part of OG Anunoby coming here and hitting the ground running. He and Precious Achua helping us get off to a roaring start in January, and then the validation of the trade because the team was so hot in January. That's the reason why they made the trade, but it doesn't slow down some of the heartache you felt when you saw some of your favorite players go to another team.
Yeah, it was also crazy because I remember that like two nights before the trade, actually, he had an interview with Monica McNutt, and he was sitting on the couch talking about he always wanted to play with the Knicks. It was like his first time he actually was coming into his own. So I looked at the video when he was on the couch. I was like, wow, we really gonna start supporting him. And then they did the trade. I was like, what? I mean, I heard people like Fluent. He's one of my guys I listen to, Fluent. He's the one that told me OG and Siakam on the block. And I didn't believe him, but I came on here and said it. And then when I heard it, I was like, no, RJ's supposed to be, I thought RJ
golden child. He's supposed to be the golden child.
Yeah, him and then quickly, they were the future. And then now it's like, who is our future? And it's like, I guess our future is the present. And it's like, you had to spend that month of January to get over everything to be like, all right, maybe it's just me.
And then come February, which was little more than overkill damage control. I mean, sure, I was happy to see Fournier go. It was a case of get rid of the Albatross contract, good riddance to bad rubbish. Grimes, he was whining like a little brat. Good to see him go. But I didn't want to get rid of Flynn just to get Bojan and Burks.
Right. So since you say that, I'm gonna give Mets a few seconds to think about this while I ask Cowboy Bob. Right. Because I'm even stewing right now internally. Y'all can't tell, but I'm stewing right now. And I'm gonna ask Cowboy Bob the question, and you'll know why I'm stewing inside. Cowboy Bob, what was the most frustrating moment of this 2023-2024 season for you as a Knicks fan? Matt, I'm going to give Cowboy Bob some time, and then I'm going to go to you next.
All right.
Frustrated was when I got to say the Randall injury. That was frustrating because it was like, I know what you are, Randall. I know you're going to come back. We're good. I've seen you get hurt. I've seen you go through these motions. We'll miss you a couple of days. But when I heard he had to get surgery, I was like, we're not. Oh, snap, coach. Good evening. Hello. When we didn't have him, and everybody's like, oh, maybe you should take this, the surgery. I was like, yes, this is it. He's gonna come back for the playoffs. He's going to do what he got to do. And then when I heard he went down, I'm like, that really hurt me.
Right. All right. So Mitch, what was the most frustrating? The most frustrating part of the season for you? Just one event.
I would have said the injury, but Bob beat me to that punch. So I'll say the deadline trade for Bojan and Burks. Like I said, I didn't mind getting rid of the Albatross contract that was in Fournier. I didn't mind getting rid of Quinn Grimes if he was going to act like a spoiled brat. But what I did mind was getting rid of Malachi Flynn. We could have used him as a better bench piece than Alec Burks.
Okay.
Because
Coach,
time and time again, what did Burks show when he was on the floor? Overkill amounts of inconsistency.
Okay. What's good, Coach?
What's up?
Hey, I'm gonna get straight to it. What was the most frustrating part of the season? And listen, this is not a rant session. It's just you just came in at a certain point.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just wondering why it's kind of
not because you got
as many smiles around here.
Because we were smiling for like 45 minutes. You just got here.
Oh, my bad.
It's your fault. You late, bro. You gotta stop. You gotta stop operating on CPT, bro.
50 wins, baby. We all happy.
Hell yeah.
So is there an event? Is there an event this season that had you thoroughly frustrated?
I mean, it would just be the whole injury gate situation, not just the one injury, just the whole, like, all that hanging in the balance and wondering what ifs and all that stuff.
Right.
It was just so
true.
But what seems to have come from that, I think, is we found out there was some guys on this team when it was their turn to step up, including our fearless leader, that they could do that. It made Dante, I mean, not that he had to find his shot or whatever. It looks like we've been looking to him now for scoring punch, and we can maybe count on that now. Like you guys were talking about McBride. So the frustration part of that was, man, can we ever catch a break?
Right.
And this is the first season in a long time. It would be a toss-up between the injury gate and just
and the way it was handled.
Yeah, and weird refereeing.
So which one would you say is the most frustrating for you?
You know what? I'm just gonna throw all that in the trash I just said, and I would say the lack of respect league wide that Jalen Brunson
Now you know
received.
Why I was doing.
Period.
That's why I was still Mets. That's why I was doing. The
Head
thing that I was gonna say, my most frustrating thing this year, Coach, and I don't want to jump the shark or take your point, right? Because you mentioned a couple things, but since you're gonna take my point, let me just throw mine out there really quick.
All right.
My most frustrating Knicks fans, my most frustrating moment this season was the All-Star voting for Jalen Brunson.
Yep.
How in the world is Damian Lillard an All-Star starter for the East when Jalen Brunson had proven throughout that not only was he the better player, but he was the most impactful player? Fellas, what's good, y'all?
Answer: politics.
Politics. So just real quick, I'm gonna just finish my point and then I'll pass the mic because Coach basically set me up with the alley-oop. Coach, as usual, coach with the moderation, right?
He's our tips.
Yeah. So my most frustrating thing is the lack of respect for Jalen Brunson on every level. The All-Star voting, the MVP conversation, the most improved player conversation, all of that stuff, Jalen Brunson is left out. But I was currently surprised. I mean, not currently, but I was pleasantly surprised that Julius Randle made the All-Star team, even though at the time of the voting, he was out due to injury. So the fact that Julius Randle made the All-Star team, to me, was a pleasant surprise. Justo11 says, 50 wins, baby. Yes, sir. Salute to the panel. Bim. Yeah, man.
And the piggyback on that too. And where I was saying, as far as the total disrespect, those and the disrespect from the media about him, like just kind of making him like a second thought pushing down, and then the referees, no respect for his. I mean,
They treat him like Jabberjaw.
Yeah, I'm
That
not
was
saying
odd.
I'm not saying I'm like think that because you're a superstar you should get any more or less calls than anybody else. You should call it the way it is. But players that
crazy
have the ball that much.
Hey, hold on. Hey, coach. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, never mind. Go ahead, bro.
So, but players that have that ball dominant and have the ball that much and are in the paint that much and falling on the ground that much. Come on, man. You're going to have more free throws than that?
Right.
I'd like to look up, honestly, I'm going to do research on this before the playoffs. What's the most points per game score of all time that had the least amount of free throws?
Yeah.
He's got to be up there. Got to be.
Maybe that, you know what? Maybe that's that'd be a great conversation for the summertime.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when we get some time to just break it down, dissect everything. Yeah, that'll be an excellent conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is Jalen Brunson so disrespected? And here's the proof that coach provided by the points per game versus the number of free throw attempts this guy gets per game.
You took my point.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is for and coach, to your point, we want to make that distinction that he's a non-jump shooter. Like he doesn't depend on jump shots. Right. Jalen Brunson gets in the paint.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we want to do the points per game versus the number of free throws attempted versus the number of paint points that Jalen Brunson scored.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I wanted to say what I also liked about Brunson that most people don't even notice. Look at his point average from I think January when we were winning to now. I think he moved it up to like 28.7 when he was like I think 22 or 23. That is insane. That means you have to be scoring like how many 40-point games, 30-point games to get just to move up 4 points or 5 points a season. Like
because it's either crazy. It's either two things. One, he ain't getting calls, or two, he is so good at getting a shot off in the paint. Like he's got to be the best because if he ain't getting fouled and still making these high percentage shot at his height, it's crazy.
I have to say his arc. There's two things real quick about Brunson that I like that he changed. His arc. What I mean by that is when I don't know if you guys remember when we were doing the play-in against the Bucks and he got blocked by Damian Lillard. Mm-hmm. I'll never forget that. When you see where the ball was here and he was fading away. Now when you see Brunson, the ball is higher and you can't tell if he's gonna go straight up and just hit it in your face. And that arc he has from the three, it just goes in and hits the back of the rim. It's just like the nicest sound I've heard outside of this. So for me to see,
speaking of nice was good, bro. Cowboy Bob wasn't gonna let you get in at all, bro. Cowboy Bob.
My fault, nice. When we talk about niceness in the Knicks, man, I can't stop talking.
Yeah. Hey, nah, you good? You good? How's everybody doing? How's everybody in the panel?
Good, man.
Real good, man. Feeling the love. 50 burger and a
man. Forget about the 50 burgers. And before anything, salute to everybody in the panel and the chat. But the definition of MVP, man, you can't look further on than Jalen Brunson.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because once Julius Randle went down, you start hearing the media and many of us in the Knicks or let's say fan base stating that, damn, now we have one less, either Batman or Robin. It doesn't matter how you want to pin it. Now you have one less, and you still have Jalen Brunson, and he made the impossible possible. Listen, if you believe in the American dream, man, just think about it. Jalen Brunson, he's too small, he's too average. He wasn't even picked on.
He's not fast enough. He's not strong enough.
He wasn't even a first round pick. Yeah. So if that's the case, man, call this guy Captain America, because what he actually did for us in this organization, just think about it. We ended up in the second seed without no Julius Randle. And that's no shade to Julius Randle. All the best for Julius Randle. But that gives us a better understanding what we have as of right now, because this team is official. Like right now, like the way I'm looking at it, forget about the draft picks, guys. Listen, with the roster that we currently have, we need to make another move, And I'm talking about keep the same roster and trade all your first round, your second round pick just for that one guy. Because think about it. The way that this roster is looking like, we are going to end up getting first round, maybe the 20 or 30 or the 30 spot. So in other words, is not even that good. Might as well just trade everything and let's say get another Superman or whatever, and that's it. We solidify.
All right, so that's something we can talk about in the summertime too, man.
Mm-hmm.
On our season review show, though, as we look back on what happened this year, whether it was and whether it tugged at our heartstrings emotionally or it made us raging upset. Is there? I'm gonna ask Nice this, but I know Coach is gonna want to jump in on this, right? Is there one guy on this team you felt like the Knicks fan base slept on, and no matter what he did, he could not get propers in the Knicks' eyes? Is there one player that you feel that way about? Nice.
One player.
Yeah. That should be getting praise from Knicks fans, but doesn't.
Deuce.
Deuce, right. I agree.
Deuce, but just I know that the rave is high on Brunson.
Is he underrated in your opinion?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So what makes him underrated though?
Underrated is based on with the pieces that we have as of right now. Is like Grimes. Think about Grimes. Like Grimes, we had everything we wanted in a player, but by him not getting enough minute, he wanted to get out. And Deuce is a little bit in the contrary. Like he is not like, it's not about that he doesn't want to play. He wants to play, but at the same time, he's not going to jeopardize the momentum that the Knicks have. And it's like, hey, listen, if you play me for a minute or two, I'm ready. That's the type of player that I want in this team. That, like, listen, it's not about you, the superstar in this team. It's not about you playing 20, 30, 40 minutes. It's about, is you going to be ready once we call you?
Yeah.
Because we can now keep on playing this game that, hey, how many times has it been Grimes, RJ, even IQ, that sometimes their number was called, and yeah, many occasions they was ready and many occasions they wasn't ready. But if you make that correlation with Deuce is normally always ready. Like always it doesn't even matter if those jumpers doesn't go in.
Were you impressed by the type of shape he was in?
Oh,
they were talking about how that man, all he did was run during the offseason. Like his running regimen got
he never
him,
stopped.
Yeah, his he got in elite level shape.
Yeah,
and was ready. Did that impress you, or was that something you thought a third year player should be doing anyway?
Mainly what you just said, and I'm gonna add just one more thing. Is we kept it simple, Freezy. We kept on saying this for the last 3 or 4 years that, listen, we just need players that once those shots is now going in, do something else. You don't need to be worrying about that with Deuce McBride. If those shots is not going in, you could guarantee it. He's gonna play defense at another level.
Right. Coach, you want a piece of
mine? Is, I mean, it's there. He's not even being mentioned. That just shows you how much disrespect he gets all the time. People don't even give him props.
Even when he's Precious?
No. Even when he's doing great, I'm about to say his name. Even when he's doing great, people rather have
Randall made the All-Star team.
Talking about iHeart.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Oh,
here we go.
Everyone always sleeping on the bright-skinned one. Every damn time. Always sleeping on iHeart. We're just waiting for Mitch to get back. Man, come on. This dude saved our season with Jalen Brunson. I'm telling you.
So you're not going to count Josh Hart?
No, well, here's the thing. Josh Hart was like that at first. Like, people were like always like, Josh Hart, he wasn't as good as he was last year, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, he turned it on. Yeah. And everyone's been loved ever since Josh Hart started that one little triple-double, that 10-10-10 one. And he's been gangbusters ever since. Yeah. Now everyone's been praising him. But I just don't ever even when I watch other shows or whatever, he's even when he has a game where he has like 4 blocks and he had double-digit points, double-digit rebounds, a steal. He's always got a steal or two. He's just always doing something, and then they don't even mention him. He's just like not even in the ticker on the bottoms, or it's just weird to me. It's like he's always waiting for he's just a forever trying to prove. We're actually a whole team of those guys, really.
Right.
If you look at our start lineup right now, the highest draft pick we have is Dante. He was the 17th pick in the first round.
Right.
You serious?
Yep. We got 2 second-round picks starting.
Yep.
I think
both drafted 43, by the way.
Yep. And Josh Hart was like
30.
23rd or 30th pick.
30, yep.
And then someone else was like the 23rd pick. And then
OG
even
and
our
Anobi.
backup, OG was the 23rd pick. Then you got Mitch was like the 2nd round pick. Precious was the 20th pick in the first round.
Yeah.
We don't even have lottery players on the
Deuce
team,
is
bro.
the 2nd round pick.
Deuce is a 2nd rounder. Like our Bogey's like 2nd rounder too, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
So like our whole rotation are guys that got a chip on their shoulder and want to prove that we can beat these lottery picks.
Yeah.
But the only thing that is something special, that it's not that we don't have players that we don't see them as a high tier. The thing is that they are not focused on that. Their priority is different. Their priority is, we don't care about the stats. We only care about winning the game collectively. And that's one thing I love more of seeing this in this team, that it's not about Julius Randle. It's not about Brunson. It's not about when RJ was playing, who has it, who's going to play. Right now, if you compare this team with like maybe 3 or 4 or 5 months ago before OG trade, it was always that question: who else is going to step up? This team, it's not about who's going to step up. Everybody's stepping up, even the small guy, even the towel boy.
I was gonna say, with that being said, the 3 leaders we have, if you look at them, they all 3 click. The 3 leaders in Brunson, OG, and I'm gonna throw in Dante because he stepped up. Those 3 guys, they don't talk. They just when you see them doing interviews, you like, damn, we just finished the game. Y'all still looking like they want to play. Like they got that, like, yep, we're good. We got it. Let's go. And I love that, because to see that shows that not Tibbs per se, but they have his personality. And the 3 of them, I love that. It's very rare you see guys that are in a high position that ain't goofing, saying they him and this and all of that. Yeah, Brunson does the whole 3. But for me, all 3 of them to be on the same page, hey, I got this, hey, you got that, and they're talking and communicating, I love that.
Right. Hey, so Spree, are you there? Can you hear us? Spree, you got your camera?
Salute, guys. Yeah,
salute.
It's good to see you guys.
Been a long time, Spree.
Nice, man. I haven't seen you forever. Good to see you.
Here we go, my brother.
I ain't camera ready right now, Freezy. I'm celebrating the win. But I am watching.
Okay. All right.
So what does that mean? You naked or something?
Yeah,
celebrating the win?
So we're trying to get everybody when they come on to do the camera thing. But if you got something real quick, bro, by all means.
I just want to say I'm not afraid of Miami. I know a lot of people, like I'm seeing on Twitter, like the Knicks should have lost. And this is all I have to say. I respect Miami, no doubt about it. But whatever happens, happens. If we play Philly or Miami, I just want to say this. The open threes that Grimes and Josh Hart missed in that Heat series, I'm going to make this comment right now. Dante DiVincenzo, OG Anunoby, they are not missing those open threes this year. Deuce is not missing those open threes. So that's fine. Spoelstra gets all the praise. He's a great coach. I respect him. I respect Jimmy Butler. I respect Bam, although he does some dirty stuff, in my opinion, at times that crosses the line. I'm just saying right now, come get some. That's all I got. I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to be watching Freezy, but I'm not. I want Miami. I need revenge because I haven't gotten over it. That's all I got.
Right. Okay. I got you. And everybody, listen, we're going to have plenty of time to talk about the upcoming playoff series. We don't even know who we're playing yet, for one, right? The play-in tournament hadn't even started yet. So So we got to kind of relax a little bit on saying who we are and not afraid of, because we don't even know who we're playing. I mean, when you talk to Atlanta Hawks fans, right, they're saying, how are you counting us out, bro? We hadn't even played yet. Atlanta plays Chicago, right? And all those things. You don't, if you go by, and nice, you'll know this because you saw it happen last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chicago took this time for granted, and they had a big lead on Miami, and they let up on the gas, and Miami beat them in the last 2 minutes of that Chicago playing game. And Miami took that play-in spot all the way to the NBA Finals. A playing team beat us last year.
Yeah.
Right? So before we start counting chickens before they hatch, I think what we should probably focus on is getting our team healthy, for one, and then let those other teams do what they do. And then when we find out who our opponent is, then we'll focus on that opponent.
Yeah.
Right. But that's just all I want to say right there, man. I'm with Spree on the fact that I'm not afraid of anybody else, but at the same time, let's keep our eyes on the road. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
we can only control what we do.
Right. Coach, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
I asked BT this earlier, and I wanted to get your opinion on it. What was the one major surprise of this season? The one thing that you saw happen, it shocked you and it made you happy. What one thing happened that made you happy this 2023-24 season?
I think it was the actual stepping up of guys we weren't really at first thinking we're going to be like so as good as they are right now, like Dante and Precious, McBride, like that. For me, that's been the most pleasant surprise, because if you told me at the beginning of the season that these three guys would be contributing, especially during that run when we were hurting, like these dudes, all like him, I Heart to You stepping up when Mitch was out, like all the guys, the next man up. Like a lot of coaches have coach talk and say that, oh, next man up. But man,
right.
we actually did it, man. We lived it this year.
I need for you to expound on that with me and Nice, because I was going to ask Nice to kind of expound on that too, right? Mm-hmm. But Coach, here's the reason why I probably need an exposition for it is, should we, think about all the players that stepped up, that surprisingly stepped up and had career type years, right? You're talking about Deuce McBride, you're talking about Josh Hart, you're talking about Dante DiVincenzo and others, right? Could you attribute that to Tom Thibodeau and his development staff?
Yeah, I would say yeah.
Oh, and Hartenstein.
Yeah, and I would say it's twofold. One, the development, and two, they trusted and believed in them guys enough to make that trade and lean on them.
Right.
And yeah, I mean it does fall at this point for anyone to not give Tibbs and his staff their due diligence, and their praises for. I mean, there was some adversity, man, up and down, and we are the number 2 seed. You know what I'm saying? We pulled it out. I'll be honest with you. I'm always optimistic and happy, but man, I'm surprised pleasantly. I'm happy.
Right. Right. So
I'm not content.
So player development is where you're pleasantly surprised at.
Yeah.
The fact that Dante DiVincenzo, a guy that averaged 9 points a game before he got here, averaged 15 points a game with the Knicks, and 17.7 points per game after the All-Star break.
Man, I'm sorry, guys. Someone's at my door, man. I'll be right back.
That's Tibbs.
Take me off the thing. I know it is.
that's Tibbs, bro. So, but yeah, man. So Nice. What do you think about that, bro? What do you think about Tom Thibodeau and his staff developing young veterans into quality NBA starters and role players.
Oh, that always has been great, and we always seen that and known that from Coach Thibodeau. But what I'm most amazed is the synchronity that actually the front office and Coach Thib they got aligned after it was either the Cam Reddish trade. After that, it was like that last tip that actually fell, because before Cam Reddish, it was what, Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker, and everything started going downhill. Then it was the dude from Atlanta, and then even further downhill. And at that moment, I don't know what happened, but I'm pretty sure somebody was punching the walls or something, because either you guys are not understanding Coach Tibbs. He wants defensive player, like offense comes next. And then after that, it's like, listen, we'll give you a list of all the people you want, and we'll get to decide who we gonna get. But at least we're not gonna get Coach Thibodeau somebody that he's not gonna end up playing. So that's what I'm more impressed.
Right. What about you, Bob?
Man, I'm just happy we 50. I'm impressed with the front office, but thinking about it again, the second time around, most impressive, Tibbs, man. Tibbs.
The player development of those players that are 16, 26, or the players that are 24, 25, 26, the way that they stepped up and developed. One could even say this is the best version of Josh Hart that you've ever seen.
Yep. Any other players. Because if you looked at Dante, we knew he was good, but then after the injury with the Bucks, we didn't know he would be this good. You look at Brunson, everybody saw him as a backup. Last 2 years, he's been changing that narrative. So it's like the development I had in question was the players we draft, but the system we have, it ain't meant for you to be the younger heart, like we say. It's meant for those that want to prove something. So if you got a weak heart, you ain't ready for this. And I got to say, Tibbs actually has a very good system.
Right. Yeah, the fact that I'm not gonna lie to you, Hartenstein. This is the best version of Isaiah Hartenstein that we've ever seen. Right. I remember Hartenstein with the Clippers. He didn't look like this. I remember Hartenstein with the Cleveland Cavaliers, bro. He didn't look like this. I remember Hartenstein in Houston. He didn't look like this. Right. Hartenstein got here. Mind you, Hartenstein played for 4 other teams before he got here. That's one of the things that we forget. Sometimes in our memory, we think Hartenstein was a first round pick. We drafted him out of such and such. Nah, that man played for such and such amount of teams. They couldn't get him right, or he couldn't get right in that environment. He got here to a safe place, right? He got here to a safe place where he could be himself, right? We stripped down what he needed to do and let him build himself back up, right? And once he built himself back up, and you saw it step at a time, a little bit at a time, like what Tom Thibodeau was doing with Precious Achiuwa right now. Little at a time, just limited responsibilities, get confidence in a certain role, build yourself up, and before you know it, you'll be hitting those threes. Remember Precious Achiuwa hit those threes in the game against the Celtics? All of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? So to me, I think the coaching staff was a pleasant surprise. Yeah, the coaching staff was now I have a surprise in the NBA, right? A thing in the NBA that I didn't like, and also a thing in the NBA that I liked. Right? The San Antonio Spurs game that we lost, I do not like the fact that the NBA is taking young stars and putting them on the path to stardom. Right? Because that game with Victor Wembanyama, he got away with a lot of stuff in that game, man.
Yeah.
He got pushing people with the palm of his hands. You can't just push people with the palm of your hands, bro.
Dropping your elbow.
Yeah. And the flopping against Hartenstein, when Hartenstein tried to get physical with him, he was flopping around like a fish. Remember Hartenstein got in foul trouble and Hartenstein couldn't touch him? Some of that stuff, bro,
Hartenstein standing there like this with his hands up, not even jumping, and he's getting a call. And Wendy's running into him.
Yeah. Part of that I didn't like, right? The NBA has a serious issue about that. But nice. Here's the thing I do like though. If you prove on a nightly basis to the NBA that you are that guy, the NBA will push you down that road of stardom. And I think that's what Jalen Brunson is going. Right? Jalen Brunson is proven on a nightly basis that he's a scoring machine. Right? He can flat out score. And I wouldn't be surprised if Jalen Brunson got MVP votes. I'm not saying he's going to win it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jalen Brunson got MVP votes. Right? I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Thibodeau got votes for Coach of the Year. I wouldn't be surprised. Right? And I wouldn't be surprised if Dante DiVincenzo got votes for the NBA Most Improved Player. I would say the Knicks have 2 players in that Most Improved category, because if you saw what Josh Hart did this season, how can you not put Josh Hart on the Most Improved Player list?
Oh yeah.
6 triple doubles, been a facilitator for Brunson. I mean, except for tonight's game where he turned the ball over at the last few seconds, but it's okay. Josh Hart has stepped up. He's more of a assertive roller where not just him playing, it's players around him are actually starting to respect his 3-ball.
But even on top of what you said, Bob, just think about the turnover that Josh Hart did. That last turnover, if you look at the position that the next team is playing, they looking at each other like, forget about what happened and just keep pushing forward on to the next one. Because I'm telling you right now, the league has something ugly going on. If I don't know if you guys seen the video, there's someone that actually started analyzing the Lakers, and the first 3 top team in the Western Conference, you could combine all 3 of them, and they still don't have more fouls than the Lakers.
You're right. We're second.
That is crazy. That is bonkers. That is bananas. It's like, I don't even know what I believe it has something to do with the betting odds. Like, there's a lot of money involved, and now they doing things dirty. But just think about it. Like, there's no wonder. There's a lot of plays that should be going our way, and they don't call it our way. Even Jalen Brunson, there's on a nightly basis, he always throw his hands up like, bro, you're not going to call that. You're not going to call that. And then you start seeing in the other end, you literally touch or just do something stupid. Barely.
Right.
Boop. A foul call. How?
I remember that. The Lakers are first because of the foul calls, but they take more. They don't even get to the rack like we do. We get to the rack more than they do, and they get to the line more than we do, which is crazy. We attack the basket. We are the second team, and our physicality is unmatched. Like, to be honest with you, I agree with you. If the refs actually were to call a game like every second, we would not be able to survive because we play a physical game, and it's unfair because we have to actually remind them, yo, this game is physical. We are allowed to play post up, box. Like, they're scared to actually let us look good. And I've had a conversation about that with a couple of people with the Lakers and the free throws, how they always get their calls and they're always high up in that number. You were right about that.
Just think about it this way. The first top 3 seeds, first, second, and third, you could add all 3 of them, and they only get like close. What is it? Lakers get like 5 or 6. Yeah, no, 1,000 something foul calls on favor of the Laker versus the first 3 on the Western Conference. That is like right there. That's what I'm saying. It's so obvious something is happening,
and we're 400 from them. That's what I'm saying. Like, the first is like 1,000, then like 400 more fouls, then we go. And I'm like, what? How is 400 that much of a gap? Like, that's. And then if you look at anyone after us, it's within reason. It's like 50, 60.
Yeah. Everybody is close. Everybody is closer to one another. But the only one that is all the way that far is Lakers. Like, no, like you guys are making it look so obvious. And the only thing I'm concerned is the fan base. There's fan base in the Knicks, Nets, Brooklyn. I mean Miami, and any other fan base. They'll look at it and they'll start thinking, "Hey, all this is rigged." Like at least make it look more appealing, so that people they don't have those type of questioning their own thought. Man, this is bunkers, you know.
So I got one for Coach, just real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, what secret weapon do the Knicks have that they can lean on in the playoffs that's going to be our ace in the hole against the very best the NBA has to offer? What entity, whether it's a person, a scheme, or whatever it is, what secret weapon do the Knicks have that they can whip out on the very best of the remaining team, the playoff teams, that the remaining playoff teams can't stop?
I think, like, you mean a particular player or just an overall thing that the Knicks do?
No, entity period, whatever.
I think our team gets along and loves playing with each other better than most of the other teams. For, like, the whole rotation.
So you think it's chemistry?
Yeah, it's just, I know you're not a big fan of the chemistry word.
No, not in the. I believe in chemistry. I don't think chemistry is a cure-all. Is
Right.
What I'm saying.
But
like legit, like when somebody asks, how are we going to stop Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? And somebody says chemistry. No, that ain't that's ridiculous. But people tend to do that though.
I think that if you go up and down all these other teams, you know, they'll do the professionalism thing. You know, some of them blatantly don't, but
right. You
can just tell that these dudes want each other to succeed. It just really seems like they just, I mean, obviously you got to start off with, you know, the Nova guys. They just love each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like, they're brothers, they're fam, you know?
Right.
But then, like, it's just because of their personalities, all of them, the way they are, they just have that vibe. And then they're just all just so gritty, man. Like, we have just the grittiest team in the league, period.
Right.
Like, we got dudes that are never going to give up. I mean, they're
going to go all Rick Astley.
Yeah, them never going to give like cardiac Knicks, man. It's just like even today in this game.
Bob almost made Coach laugh. Did you see that?
I was about to. I was like watching. You know, I was scoreboard watching. It was just like for a little bit there. You know, the Magic were taking their sweet time to get going, and then all of a sudden, like, we started doing weird stuff in the game. You know. And I'm like, man, really? Like, the Bulls are playing like this is the dang NBA Finals.
Yeah,
they got nothing to gain for this win. What are they doing?
Right. I think they want us, Coach.
No,
I think the Bulls want us.
I do. I believe that too. But no matter what they do, they can't get us unless they beat the Celtics in the first round.
Right.
Good luck. If they do that, then we definitely go into the Eastern Conference Finals.
But like. But for me, like what you were saying, like it's just the camaraderie and the chemistry and just the vibe of just this team.
All right.
You know?
All right. So Justo 11, thank you for the generous contribution. And Justo says JB better be on all NBA first team. Luka, Giannis, SGA, Jokic are all locks, but JB has been better than Tatum easily. Thank you for that comment, bro. Thank you for that. Justo 11. Hey, Coach, you're a member of the channel. You are a member of the channel, right?
Yep.
So we're gonna order jerseys, basketball team jerseys. All the members of the channel. We want to do that so that we can represent. Is there a specific number that you like? 40? You like
40? 40 is my number. But
okay.
Yeah, I like that one.
Okay, so we'll get with you after that. I'll show you the jerseys in a little while, but
Yeah.
But the one
55.
Yeah, 55.
I'm looking for that Hartenstein
love affair. No.
I love that dude.
But just real quick, the one entity I think is a secret weapon, Cowboy Bob, that we can whip out on these playoff teams and they won't be able to stop it is OG Anunoby's defense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Giannis. I don't care if you're Paolo.
Butler.
I don't care if you're Butler. I don't care if you're DeRozan. I don't care if you are Tatum, Brown, whoever.
Clams.
I think OG Anunoby himself is a defensive system.
Great.
Unto himself. Right. And I think Tom Thibodeau said that. They were like, yo, what system you in? Now OG's is his own defensive system. OG Anunoby legit is a black hole where when things come his way, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening when you come his way. Nobody move, nobody get hurt when OG Anunoby is around.
It's funny you say that because I thought of Eddie when you said that when the guys at the free throw line and explained it. We call you a hole? No, he said a black hole.
And then he explained what a black hole is?
Yeah, he hella intelligent.
Yeah.
I thought of that. Yeah, man.
But
to add to that, I think the surprise that we have, you're right about OG's defense, but it's Brunson's ability to just get hot. Like that man, when he starts, then Dante starts, then everybody starts. It's like, don't let Brunson get hot. If we got OG's defense with Brunson's, man, because he's gonna attack, he's gonna look
with
for
Brunson's
time.
what?
With Brunson's offense, like
okay.
Those two. If he does what he's been doing, where he's just hitting his shots and making it look easy, OG's defense with that, we are a problem.
Yeah,
bro.
You know what I was happy of too in this last game was,
hey coach, before you do that, let me get Nice's answer. Let me get Nice's answer on the on what weapon the Knicks have in the playoffs that'll surprise some people.
You literally said it. It's OG. That's why I was laughing because just think about it this way. If you watch the game, haven't you noticed a couple times it's like, what the bleep is OG doing? Like, because he's moving and everybody might be doing their own thing, but OG is in his own world, and whatever he's doing, he's seeing something that others is not seeing.
Right.
So there's a reason we got OG. There's a reason that like every loss, every time we got out of the playoff, we have been doing improvement based on what we was missing on the last on the time that we got eliminated. So it's a blessing, and based on the super chat that they gave you a Freezy. If you start looking at all those names, the one that they actually mentioned, all of them, they have a 2 and a 3rd guy in that team.
Right.
Jalen Brunson, he lost his 2nd or 1st guy, so he was the only one. That's the main reason I'm saying, bro. If you're looking for the definition of MVP, there's no question or nothing to be asked than Jalen Brunson.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, boss. Cowboy Bob, you had one. Did you want to add to the secret weapon?
Yeah, it was Brunson.
You think? Oh, okay, Brunson. How is Brunson a secret weapon and he's in the MVP conversation?
That's the problem. Because the thing is you could have one night of Brunson just being not missing a shot because he's done it this year and a half, and then you have Brunson where he's like, I don't need to score, I could pass, like that, or hey, I could grab a board, run the transition, and create. I don't have to be the main scorer. And the fact that him OG and he's looking up court now more. I'm telling you, his assist moved from, I think it was 6 to now, like he's at 8. He's been averaging pretty much high 7s to 8 per game. His looks, his determination, the way he is, and he's just the way OG's locked in on defense, Brunson's locked in on offense. That's what I see. And I'm just like, do you? Like when it comes to Brunson, he got the ball, he could pull from Steph Curry's own. I don't care because I just know. Not because we've seen him do it. Like I've seen him like Brunson, there's 3 of them. Okay, I'm sorry. And he's been, you know what I'm saying? Or he'll come down, get the 3-point play with the and one, and in here they say, Dochi puntos. Like that's all I've been hearing.
But Bob, I think you meant how is it a secret if the dude is in the MVP conversation?
because we don't know what his true level is. Like with Tatum, we know at certain times how we can attack Tatum late in the game. I haven't seen anyone figure out Brunson until Brunson makes that mistake. Like if he's off and he makes a mistake, he'll take it. But like Nice said, hey, don't forget that last play, keep it moving. But the way he's able to just take over games, like him and Tatum
Cowboy Bob, this dude's an all-star, bro.
I know, but this is what I'm saying. Like,
but where's the surprise?
Where's the surprise at?
We don't know his level. We don't know where his level is, because if he leads us to a championship, that's the surprise. The surprise is I think he is the leader to take us to an Eastern Conference Final Championship, and that's the surprise because everybody's putting him on notice. Like, oh yeah, perfect example. Look at Tatum. Compare Brunson to Tatum. Tatum will be giving you good work all game, but then we know there's certain periods he won't figure it out. But then you'll see Brunson say, yo, I got it. And he'll just go. And he'll change the flow of the game. And just the way he's able to affect, that's a surprise to me.
But Tatum's been all NBA for years, bro. That's not.
And I think he has a higher ceiling than Tatum. He just hasn't proven it yet. Because of his determination. That's the surprise. I want to see him dig in, figure it out, and show us, yo, I'm him, because I think he's still got more to show. Like one more year of this. What are we gonna say,
bro? I'll say this, Coach. I'm gonna say this. So I said OG Anunoby's defense, right? I think another surprise that you can expect is Isaiah Hartenstein against opposing team centers in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're really gonna see. See, because the thing is with this is I'm not saying Hartenstein was sandbagging, right? Don't listen, y'all. Don't get it twisted. Don't get in your emotions, chat. Don't get in your emotions about what I'm about to say. Just hear me out about it. I think Hartenstein, you haven't seen, like what Cowboy Bob was saying about Brunson, about the best is yet to come. I think the best is yet to come from Hartenstein in the playoffs. Cowboy Bob was telling me the best is yet to come about Brunson, but Brunson's already in an MVP conversation, right? But the thing I'm saying about Hartenstein is Hartenstein's not in the MVP conversation. Hartenstein's not even in the All-Star conversation. Hartenstein's not in any postseason award or accolade conversation. But he could be key in a individual matchup against Joel Embiid if that's who we indeed play in the first round of the playoffs, right? Him and Mitchell Robinson. Hartenstein may play his way into a big time contract in the playoff. I mean, in the postseason if he has a great postseason, right? And if you're Hartenstein and you don't know the number of games you're going to play, like none of us know how many games the Knicks are going to play in the playoffs, right? We hope, or we hope we get 16 wins, right? But you don't know how many losses you're going to take on your way to 16 wins, right? So with Hartenstein, with nothing to lose and everything to gain, I think you might see Hartenstein be a surprise for other teams.
Great. That's actually a good idea because him against Embiid, oof, you're right. He wants that contract, play for it. That's actually better than Brunson. I agree with that now. Because if based off of what iHeart can do, if he gets involved early, if you look at the Boston game, where he was attacking the rim early, getting into foul trouble, getting to the line.
Right.
In both Boston games, actually, you were right. Like when he came in the second half, not the last one, but the one before that, and he was on a minutes restriction. He came in and scored like 6-7 quick points on Porzingis. Right. If we can get that guy against a guy like Embiid or in just period in the playoffs, you're right.
Yeah, I think as a whole, like this team we have right now, as far as the scope of the league goes, we're a new team.
Yeah.
Like the league hasn't really had a chance to really game plan for us because we've been trying to figure out what we were for this whole second half of the season because of the injuries and bringing in OG and the new guy, all that stuff.
Great point, bro.
And because of that, we're gonna figure it out first because we've been part of it. Obviously, we've been doing it.
Right.
But by the time people are like, man, like I think we're just gonna. That's why I think we overwhelmed and surprised some of these. Like, I'm curious to see because we're talking about the review of the season. But at first, the mantra was we were beating teams we were supposed to beat. That was, they was always doing that stat. But man, with this team we've had lately, we've been beating the brakes off the top teams in the league.
Right.
A lot.
Right.
And I think
hey, Coach, just let me interject right there. And then to your point, not only are we beating those said teams that you mentioned, look in their eyes when we're beating them.
Yeah, but it's like they're like
what
the hell is this? Where did this come from?
Yeah.
It's like we catching everyone's like on by surprise.
It's the water in New York.
And they just, I mean, weren't we just laughing about the Knicks about a year or two ago? What's going on here?
It was all good just a week ago, to quote Jay-Z.
Yeah, that's it. And then, like, now, sometimes we play to the level of our competition, but hey, it's the playoffs. We play to the level of our competitions. We'll be all right.
Right. Salute to Guard Up Knicks. Guard Up Knicks. Hey, what's good, bro? We got to get you to come on the panel, man. Yeah, we got to get Guard Up Knicks to come on the panel, man. They had Guard Up Knicks. That's my guy, man. I enjoy watching them. Watching Guard Up Knicks on X posting stuff. I saw the family thing he put out there the other day. Might have been yesterday. That was pretty dope. Hey, salute to Guard Up Knicks and all those guys. Salute to my man, Big Tone. The Miami Heat in the playoffs once again. You know what I'm saying? And Guard Up Knicks says there's something different about this team. I'm very confident in this roster, and I think Coach is as well. That's the reason why he made the point that he made, and this is the reason why I made the point that I made too about when you look the Boston Celtics in their eyes, when you look the Milwaukee Bucks in their eyes, when you look the Denver Nuggets in their eyes, bro, they see that they can't just throw their jersey out there on the floor anymore. And to Coach's point, they have to figure it out because we have to figure it out because we made significant change in season. So we still have time to figure it out, plus the injuries. So we're still in this phase of, not knowing how powerful we are. I guess we're like salt in a way. We're kind of like salt where we try not to put too much because it'll overpower you. But if you don't put enough, you know what I'm saying? It's not there, So yeah, man.
It's like we're learning how to like there's a couple of analogies, I guess. Like, we always compare things with football sometimes, but like it's just like having that new starting QB, like a surprising QB one week.
Yeah.
And you ain't been gaming plan for him for like the last couple of weeks. Because in the NFL and even in college or whatever, that these guys are your game plan. And I know you're always thinking about the next team, but I know we're playing Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or whoever next week. We got to watch out. We know he does this. Now it's like, who the hell is Jordan Love?
Right. Oh, I got one for you. You remember when Brad Johnson got hurt and the Bucks brought in a dude named Sean King?
Oh yeah.
You remember Sean King?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did they see he surprised off the bench?
Yeah.
Because Brad Johnson was a game manager, dinker dunker or whatever, and Sean King came out throwing the ball down the field, and people were like, "Whoa!"
Yeah. There was this guy.
Where'd this come from? Yeah.
Yeah, and then like. If you look at it just in, not to be too philosophical, but if I'm trying to survive out in the wilderness, I'm on an island, and I look at a pineapple. Would I think I can cut that thing open and eat that thing? Look, you ever see a pineapple?
Yep.
How do you know how sweet and succulent and delicious that thing's gonna be?
Yeah.
Unless you give it a try.
You give it a try.
And that's what like this team has been for for me, like they're this ugly pineapple, and just when you just give it a chance and take it all in, it's beautiful to watch, man.
What's uglier than dragon fruit, bro?
So sweet.
Like what's uglier than dragon fruit, bro? You look at dragon fruit.
Exactly. They got coconut.
They got pink pineapples out here. Pink pineapple.
For real?
Not even, yes. I'm serious. It's like a crossbreed, but it's crazy when you see it. You can't eat it though. You can't eat it. But yeah, it's a fruit that grows out here, and you're like, wow, it's a pink. Yeah. Because when it's pink, it's not good for you. It has to be yellow.
Right. So like, for me, that's where we have an advantage, because the whole Eastern Conference knows what Boston's in. Boston's been who the hell they are for all year, pretty much.
Yeah.
They ain't had to really worry about injuries. They've been in cruise control. Their coach tried to talk all that mess like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a different level, and man, get the heck out of here.
Yeah.
You started your starters. You kept them in for 3 full quarters.
Yeah.
When we started taking it to you, you're like, man, okay.
You can't take any opponent for granted, bro.
Exactly.
You can't take any. The one thing I learned by being a professional punching bag, Cowboy Bob, that's what I was. So I boxed for a little while, and so I wasn't the greatest, but what I learned by being a professional punching bag, by taking many haymakers to the eye, is that you can't underestimate any opponent anytime. Right. Even when you give them a win, you have no idea what type of confidence you give that opponent while that's happening. Right. The longer you keep them around, the greater their confidence will grow. And don't let them win. Like the Knicks beat Boston. That's the last thing. Boston, I'm not gonna lie to you. If Boston would have came out and beat the Knicks, to beat the brakes off the Knicks, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Yep.
We'd be having this conversation. If we had Randall, if only we had done such and such.
And they know that
conversation.
They know that too. It's the whole thing. Like, it's almost like the big brother, little brother thing that's going on right now with them.
Right.
Like once little brother starts like, having his come up, big brother got to be there. Hey,
Right.
And then you try to demoralize him and slow down his growth for a second.
Yeah.
I'm still the big dog around here. Like Boston tried to do that, and we like, we bit back.
Yeah.
So to me, but then like, you have these other letdown things that happen. They made us, it comes down to like, as far as season review talk and all that, I mean, we finished it like on a positive note. Like we didn't like, man, God, into the playoffs.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about. And that's what I wanted to talk. So we have about 12 or so minutes left, man. What I want to talk to you about is this. What does rooting for a 50 win team feel if you're a Knicks fan? Like, what's your feeling today of the Knicks being a 50-win team?
Nostalgic. I feel young again.
Right.
Because I remember the last time I had this feeling, like for real, like, even the mellow years where we had a couple little runs here and there, I just always never felt too comfy. Because, the LeBron was around and in his prime, and just the landscape was different,
right?
But man, I haven't really had this like confidence and like just sense of like real opportunity and hope and future that I do right now with this team. It's like the same feeling was like when the early 90s Knicks, when Pat was really, he started becoming like a top 3 scorer in the league, and and we had all them grit. We had Pat Riley in town, and things started getting all. We were like 50 wins was like, oh, yep, we're getting 50 wins again. That's like nothing.
Standard, yeah. When 50 wins, was standard, yeah. It's like when 12 wins. 12 wins was the standard in the NFL, or 11 wins was the standard in the NFL. Right, Coach? Let me tell you this: there are only 7 teams in the NBA that have won 50 games.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, that's saying the Knicks are maybe a top 7 team at worst.
Right.
At worst, but at best, we're the second best team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Right. And to me, I think something should be said to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a testament of will and determination.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, man.
I think this is so beautiful. The last 5 wins against top teams, I mean, outside of Chicago, it was impressive because that's what we needed to build our confidence, plus to remind them that we still here. But the Boston game, I agree with you guys on that. But my favorite part about that is the fourth quarter. We rested Brunson the whole quarter. Like, that's the ultimate disrespect right there. So we ready.
I think the real testament to that, Cowboy Bob, that to me, and I'm saying it from my perspective. I respect your perspective, right? Mm-hmm. Right. I just think about it differently. My thing in that game is the fact that them goddamn Celtics waved the white flag. Mm-hmm. Right? They waved the white flag. They legit was like, okay, that's enough. All right. Okay, that's all right. All right, the lead. Okay, the lead is 30. All right. Because if they kept them dudes on the floor, bro, we might have beat them by 45, bro.
Yep.
We might have, Coach. We might have beat that unit by we legit called off the dogs. Right now, did their bench unit come back against our bench unit? They hit a lot of lucky shots. I'm gonna give them credit. Yes, they came. They got within 9 at one point. Whatever, blah blah blah, whatever. Right. But if we'd have kept our dogs on the floor, bro, we legit would have beat that team by 45. That Celtics team to me is like that song "Hopeless," like a penny with a hole in it. That team did not show any heart that night, and Jaylen Brown looked visibly upset. I don't care if you're an NBA fan and you're like, well, all Boston has to do is such and such and such. I'm saying on that one night we played Boston, we snatched their heart out, and there was nothing they can do about it. And Jaylen Brown looked visibly upset.
All of them look bad. Like, it just, I'm glad that we showed that they have a chip in their arm, and that's what we do. We hit them in the mouth. Now we're going to do it again when we see them.
You know whose body language stood out to me in that was Porzingis.
Yeah.
I can tell he was like,
I should have stayed.
I don't know about that, but he like when I listen to him, I don't know, the Celtics are weird. They don't really have.
They're a very skilled coach. You know who they are to me? They are this decade's Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, that's what they remind me of. Like
that's who they are to me. They have a small forward that can score, a power forward that can score, a
the
center.
Old Seattle teams, like
yeah, man. They all that skill that they have. They remind me of the Kevin Johnson Phoenix Suns. Mm-hmm. All that skill that they have, right? Oh, they could score if you let them. They could score 200 points if you let them. Right, but then when it comes chin check time, when it's time to go and when it's Roadhouse, when it's a ballroom brawl, right? They're in there screaming like olive oil. Somebody help us! You know what I'm saying?
I think they're the epitome of. They're like one of those front runner teams. Like you let a team like that get up on you and start like feeling themselves.
Yeah.
Like they'll run with it, but you start smacking them back in the mouth.
Ooh, are you calling them the Buffalo Bills? Are you calling them the Buffalo Bills?
Hey, man,
wow.
You remember the Buffalo Bills?
Mm-hmm.
They come out there in that 3 wide receiver set, and they had a tight end named Pete Metzlaws. Remember Pete Metzlaws?
Yeah.
Man. They get Kenneth Davis and Thurman Thomas and 3 or 4 wide receivers, bro. They come out there in the snow. And they be throwing that ball all over the place. Man, you ever let them get up by 10, bro? Oh, my goodness. If you let them get they're like the momentum team. If you ever let them get momentum, bro.
Yeah. And there were a lot of Western Conference teams like that in the NBA. Like for the longest time I can remember. I mean, there was a lot of teams, like you were saying, Sacramento, that who else was it? There was someone else in the Western Conference. Like every year they always had like the best record in the regular season, and then they just, in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like even like the Trailblazers, them teams.
Yeah.
Man, that team was
talented.
talented.
What it was in the 80s? In the 80s, it was the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Jack Sigmund.
Yeah. I like him, by the way. I like him, by the way. Hartenstein reminds me a smidge of him.
Yeah,
just a smidge, and it's not because he's light like Sigma, but because he had touch and tough and was a great team player. He could do a lot of stuff around the basket.
Yeah,
him and Jeff Rulin, another center people probably have forgotten about. So,
yeah. I just really. It's nice if it was easy and it just seemed like everything fell into place for us, then it maybe wouldn't taste as sweet, you know what I'm saying? But to persevere and get through all the adversity we went through this year, like from the beginning of the season on,
right.
To just like just so many guys that stepped up, even Brunson, everyone, literally every person on our roster right now took their game to the next level this year.
You want to give credit to Tom Thibodeau?
I always do.
Okay.
When he does well, I'll give him props.
Right.
When he doesn't, I won't.
Right.
But I mean, a lot of people are going to say like, oh, he's always been a great regular season coach. You'll see what he does in the playoffs. I think we're a reflection of the head.
Right.
He's got a chip on his shoulder. He wants to prove all these dudes like, man, you know what? I can coach too.
Yeah.
I mean,
mentored by Pops. People forget about the San Antonio Spurs.
Exactly. I mean, Tibbs has a ring.
Yep.
He's got two, don't he?
Well, I know he won one with Kawhi. He played with Tim, didn't he? Wasn't he back with Tim?
Who's got a ring?
Tibbs. Tibbs. I'm talking about.
Yeah, Tibbs got one with Kawhi.
No, he was an assistant for the Celtics.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But when Durant and them. I mean, not Durant. I mean Garnett.
Garnett. Okay, my fault. I thought he won one with San Antonio out of my fault.
No. He was already in Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, so like he's got a chip on his shoulder. He wants to be considered that that's part of being a professional, and that's we play to win the game. Hello. So that's all he wants to do. Why do you think Dante played 53 minutes today? Good Lord.
Yeah, forgot about that.
Because he I guess he figured he had 4 days off after.
Yeah,
man.
20 points too.
Yeah, it felt good, man. Trust me, I was screaming at the screen.
Yeah, man,
a lot.
Yeah.
I was happy. DeRozan missed his shot. I was like, "Oh no, DeRozan got an opportunity."
I'm like, and I knew Kobe White was pretty good and all, but I'm like, wait, Kobe White, what is this guy, Kobe Bryant?
Yeah, man.
I mean, man,
Caruso.
Hey,
Caruso was
Hartenstein, and Hartenstein had 4 assists today, bro.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He also in that game, like he's still. If this was a playoff game, he would have stayed in longer, I think, too.
Yeah.
He's definitely, I think Tibbs realizes his worth. And just like you said, I think he's going to not that he hasn't come out already, but he's gonna have a coming out part of this playoffs, man.
Right. And most players elevate their games in the playoffs, but players with something to prove to the world in the playoffs usually do something incredible. Right. So there's that part of it. Fellas, that's all I got, man. Thank you, everybody. Chat, thank y'all for coming through, rocking with us. Thank you for everybody on X that came through and rock with us. Thank everybody on Twitch. That man, our Twitch family. Thank y'all for coming through, rocking with us. YouTube, salute. Y'all already know the vibe. Cowboy Bob, you got something before we go? Something short before we go?
All I was gonna say was this: let's keep it going, guys. I'm really proud of this team. Thank you for the season, but we got another thing to worry about. Tibbs, you got this, man. Go New York, go New York.
All right,
go.
Coach, you got something real quick, real short, so we can get out of here.
Enjoy it, boys, while it lasts. Enjoy your families the next week or so. Enjoy it because in another week and a half, it's time to go to work. Or 2 weeks, right? By the time our playoff game is.
Yeah.
Man, it's gonna be we're gonna have a
ride,
roller coaster ride.
All right,
Strap it up.
Thank y'all, man. Peace, everybody.
Much love.